As we celebrate our country's birth this week, it's a great reminder of the importance of sharing our history with our kids. Unfortunately, getting kids excited about history, now that can be difficult. So here with some helpful tips to make history come alive is Dr. Ashley Stevens from Cabell County Schools. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
Yes, so we need help on this one. How can we make history more exciting for the kids?
So we tell it like a story.
Okay.
So the concept of historical fiction, the idea that there are things that we're going to study that are real, but they might be told with some liberties taken, or you know, with some more exciting characters, can help kids learn about the content. They learn about the people and the places and the events in a way that is very palatable. It's very fun and engaging. And then once they're engaged, it is an easy segue into nonfiction. So if I've learned about this, you know, the Boston Tea Party and all of the excitement that ensued and all of the positions that people had in that, then when I go to read about what actually happened, I have content knowledge, I have interest, and we built it in ways that are not quite as dry as sometimes, you know, history is presented.
It can be. So we need to look for things that would be considered historical fiction.
Yes.
Okay.
To give you an example that I think everybody in our community can relate to, if we think about the Marshall movie, We Are Marshall, certainly the big ideas were covered, you know, with fidelity. Were there some composite, you know, people? Were there blends of stories? Of course. And there were some things that were done to make it palatable. But the big ideas were covered correctly. And that's what we're looking for when we want our kids to learn about history in this way. Not anything that's going to change the nature of it, but things that may be through the eyes of somebody that is a modern day writer.
And that might get them more interested, and then they seek out some of the other types of learning about it. So what are some of the options for the younger kids?
There are tons of novels for all ages, but there are a few series that I wanted to let you guys know about. Magic Tree House is maybe one of the easiest. I don't know that we think about the historical fiction kind of concept, but when Jack and Annie, the siblings in the story, you know, go into their tree house and they get whirled away, they land in a different time, in a different place with historical figures and events, and they're able to see things firsthand in a way that is really fun to read about. And so we feel like we're there with King Tut, or we're there, you know, in the Andes Mountains, or whatever they're into. And so Magic Tree House is fantastic, and they even have an older version called Merlin's Missions, I believe. So your kids can grow with these, and
that's good, because sometimes it is, as the kids get older, to find them something they'll get excited about too. So you recommend that one. Any others?
Definitely that one. There is a cartoon series, and this is one that my daughter has mentioned. We were talking about something from the Revolutionary War, and my youngest said, well, I know about that because I watched it on Liberty's Kids. And I was like, I don't even know what Liberty's Kids is. So I want you guys to know about it. These are quick cartoons, and it is told from the perspective of two teenage journalists who are writing for Benjamin Franklin. And so they're reporting on things in first person, they're seeing it, they're covering things, and they're really quick videos that are engaging for kind of the younger set.
I like that, yeah. So you've given us a couple of ideas here. Any resources that you all provide through the school that might also get the kids and families excited about history?
Absolutely. Our schools, our teachers are the wizards behind this. I'm just, you know, kind of learning from what my kids are bringing home from them. But in terms of some older ones that, you know, families may have access to, and they may be shared through the schools. I know that I have judged some literacy fair competitions. This is where I learned about this one. The I Survived series. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with that one.
So again, it's a first person, and they have lived through something where it's just really impressive that you lived through it. So these are, you know, these are big events that have happened throughout history. Some of them are in a graphic novel form. So if you have reluctant readers, that's a great entry point. And then some of them are more traditional. But the I Survived allow them to, you know, kind of have walked through the steps of someone who has been through something that is significant in our history. Another option is the Who Was series. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes, that one as well. I remember my kids bringing all these different books you've mentioned home.
Absolutely. I think these are heavily featured in some classroom libraries right now. The Who Was series is not just who was. They also have what was, or when was, or what do we know about. And so it covers lots of different content. And the books just explain what you need to know about this. So they're mini biographies, or, you know, mini retellings of a location or an item. They also have a Netflix series. It was one season, but it was the Who Was show. And so they would cover two different historical figures, and oftentimes they didn't have anything to do with each other. So it was very creative in how, you know, the show is tied together so that you can meet these figures and get to know them in a different way. And I do think that kids love to learn about history as long as their feet are already wet. It's the getting the first exposure that's tricky. And so the hope is that this is just an easy and fun way to do that.
I love it. And celebrating our country's birthday, Independence Day, this is the perfect time to kind of dig into some of these and get the kids excited.
Absolutely. And if you want this list, it is on cabellschools.com. From there, you'll go to families, and we have all of those listed under Family Academy. So you can kind of click and go to all the links that we just shared.
Great ideas. Dr. Stevens, thanks so much for stopping by and sharing them with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.